The way I remember fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood is that they can be quite gruesome. I mean, Granny gets gobbled up whole, the woodcutter kills the wolf with an axe, etc. But having seen some fairy tale books recently, I have a feeling that a lot of modern parents and authors are retelling these tales with the violence taken out. This is, for example, the way my daughter tells the story.
A woodcutter was coming along and he heard the noise and he rushed in, and then and the wolf rushed out, and the woodcutter said, "I'll get you later," and then Granny jumps out the cupboard.
So Granny was hiding in the cupboard and the wolf just runs away. So to prove my point that modern society is over-sanitising fairy stories, I asked the people of Hastings to describe the same story. At the end of Red Riding Hood, what happens?
I would guess that the wolf's killed by the huntsman.
Somebody kills the wolf.
The wood chopper cuts him open and pulls the grandma out.
So it's clear, isn't it? Actually, I didn't really find what I was looking for, because most people tended to remember the gruesome details of the original folktale, in spite of all the books with the softer endings. But in a way that maybe does prove my point, because the ending they remembered best was the uncut one. Now, I'm certainly not the only one who's bothered by watered-down modernised fairy tales. Giles Paley-Phillips is a local author who's just published his book, The Fearsome Beastie, which is far from sanitised. In fact, he's gone the other way. The beastie of the title ends up in a cooking pot. And that's because the author hates PC fairy tales, so he seemed like the perfect person to talk to.
I think that we are living in a bit of a nanny state now, and yeah, I think we do tend to shield our children from anything that's slightly grisly or nasty. I mean, I grew up reading Grimm Brothers tales and, like you say, the original versions of Little Red Riding Hood, and yeah, I think these days we do sanitise everything because we're worried about our children being affected by various different things in the outside world. And yeah, I mean, say I grew up reading those sort of books and Roald Dahl, and it didn't seem to do me any harm. So, you know.
And you've written the book, which is the exact opposite of that sanitised approach to fairy tales. Your book is called The Fearsome Beastie, and what's the premise of the story then?
Basically, there's 4 children, and they, in the evening, they've just been put to bed by their parents. They hear the noise of the beastie, and the beastie's coming from his den, and he's looking for food. He's hungry, and he quite likes eating children. So yeah, they basically try and hide from him. Over hills, through fields and streams, below the moon that shines and gleams, Beastie travels all the night, arriving just before dawn's light. The children hide beneath the stairs, behind the drapes and under chairs. Shh, says one, don't make a sound. If you do, we will be found. But it's too late. Along the street, the beastie seeks a special treat. It bares its claws, it cracks its tails. Its fangs look like old sharpened nails. I remember when we first got the illustrations back, I was slightly concerned that maybe we'd gone too far, but I talked with my publisher and they felt strongly about it. Children do like to be scared. I play monsters and things with my children at home. They like hiding under the covers and then me jumping up on them and making growling sounds and all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, once they take off that blanket, they know it's me there. There's a reassurance there. And I think there's certain aspects of the Fearsome Beastie which have got that, you know, at the end, the granny does save the children. And, you know, I think there's quite a lot of underlining essence of stranger danger and stuff like that goes through the beastie. And I think, you know, these are important things we need to instill in our children, that, you know, yes, it's okay to be scared, and yes, it's okay that, you know, there will be someone there to help you.
Some children might be shocked by this story.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some children won't enjoy this story. Having been around for the last 6 months, going around doing book events, here and everywhere. I haven't found many children that haven't liked it. I think it does come down to the adults buying the book. Some people pick it up and think, this isn't something I want to show to my child. I think my child will be too scared. And I think, unfortunately, some of the time, that isn't the case. I think a lot of children aren't actually scared of the book. And once they actually get to know the book, they find it funny, they see the humour in it, and they aren't scared by it. But I think there's a perception from the parent buying it that their child won't be able to handle it.
Giles Paley-Phillips, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And if you're one of those parents not put off by grannies with axes, The Fearsome Beastie is published by Maverick Arts. And Giles also mentioned the Grimm brothers' versions of the tales, which are certainly not sanitised and are definitely favourites in our household.